What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Bears show. I'm Ivan Vargas on the best Bears network on the planet. The Tape Never Lies. The Tape Never Lies network. Excuse me, I'm all tongue tied here. Watching the Cubs, hoping that they pull it off. But anyways, on the Tape Never Lies network, make sure you become a patron today at www.thetapeneverlies.com. It was a fun day yesterday at training camp. Got to see Jose, got to see Ron G, got to see Little Pa, aka Mark, which is his real alias, I guess. I mean, unless he's faking it, but hey, I wouldn't blame him. But Little Pa, that as we know him on the show, and it was a blast. I mean, it was like I wish I would have more time with them, but I was so focused on trying to get as much tape as I could, as much 11 on 11, as much of the offense as I could to show for you. And you know what, to be honest with you, and shout out to I Am Skokes. Skokes was there with me. I was sitting next to him, trying to get some tape, and hopefully I got enough that'll satisfy you guys until the next time I show up. Otherwise, you could go ahead and just see the highlights from various other podcasts and networks. But anyway, like I said, it was a fun time. You know, it was a blast in my eyes. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves that came from the TTNL network. Like I said, I wish I could spend a lot more time with you guys. Hopefully everybody shows up to the tailgate and we could, spend a whole, day together watching and watching the Bears and having a couple beers together. But, nonetheless, it was a blast. I enjoy, meeting, new fans. Like I said, I've just met Little Pa, and then, obviously seeing Ron G and Jose again. And on the 6th, I'll see some more TTNL fans. I think Kerry, I believe, is going to be there, and we'll see who else is. I think Alejandro Hernandez might be there from when we get. If I'm not wrong with the date, I mixed up the dates that we gave away tickets. Like it's been a long week. It's been so far, it's been fun. Like I said, this off season, but this ticket thing, it's been kind of frustrating. But then, obviously I want to get the tickets to you guys, so I kind of mix up the dates. And I mean frustrating not with you, but I mean frustrating as is we don't have enough tickets to give out. Like I wish I had more, but and I'll talk about this a little later because I ran into somebody familiar with the network, friend of the network that we know, and off air he kind of had something to say that kind of echoed what we all have been thinking. But nonetheless, like it's nothing like major, but it's just for it's everything that we saw with this whole ticket fiasco as far as training camp is concerned. But it was fun. I enjoyed myself. I had a fun time. It was more exciting watching than anything else. Like all the other, like the walk up, they have their little things. I got my burrito, so I hit the taco truck right away. The guys could tell you that. So I got my burrito. I was happy. And then obviously I got to see Sean. Shout out to Sean Stewart. I like I said, I wish I could hang out with everybody. But my main goal was, all right, I have to get tape of Caleb Williams to go ahead and bring back to you guys so everybody could see what's been going on. So I think I got just enough to keep you guys satisfied until the next time. And then, like I said, you could just pick up with the highlights and with word of mouth. But nonetheless, like we'll start off with the interviews from was it yesterday? Yeah, from Friday. Start off with the interviews from Friday. Then I'll be able to show you guys. Then I will show you guys the highlights. And I have a special guest with me, so it's going to be even better. Hopefully he's ready after making fun of the handicapped people in the stands. But it doesn't matter. He's not really handicapped. It's not that serious. But anyway, here's our friend, the smartest man, Shane Marsault.
Heyo.
What's up? Let me fix this. There we go.
A little bit late
Yeah.
getting here, but
No worries.
It works.
No worries.
Whenever I can come in and take a shot at Mr. Braggs. That's what I'm going to show up for.
Well, it was a fun text exchange. I won't get into it, but it was funny. I'll say this: I was the one texting back and forth. So I was
Ivan
the
Ivan
mitigator.
was the middleman, and unfortunately,
yeah.
my mother and Greg's mother have the same names. Unfortunately, so it got a little weird.
Got a little weird, but it is what it is. But I'm glad you joined, Shane, because I wanted to hit first like the interviews from Friday and then get into the tape, because I have like about 10 minutes. Some of it is like the beginning is just kind of showing everybody the layout of what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And then, obviously the 11 on 11. So, but first let's go ahead and jump in with Richard. Is it Richard? It's Richard Hightower. Am I wrong? Like, thank you. Richard Hightower, our special teams coordinator.
Great to see everyone again. Really appreciate, you guys being here. Obviously appreciate the fans. Today at practice, they gave a little juice, a little energy out there. So really a lot of juice, a lot of energy. That was really cool. I know the players were talking about that. They were really excited about that. So, again, couple of practices in, guys are really into the details right now, and today was the first day of pads, so that was outstanding. A really good first day of pads. So I mean, with that, we'll open it up to questions, but it was a really good practice, a lot of situations in there, especially for us on punt. And I think you guys saw that, so go ahead.
Did you see your punt returners working on kind of having to adjust to Tory Taylor?
Yeah, they actually, Jason, that's a good question, because most of the returners right now are talking about the flight of his ball and how it travels differently. And when having two punters in camp right now with Corliss, the spin is different with a lefty punter as well. So they say Tory's footballs hang up there quite a bit, and they're just a little bit, they're both hard to catch, but like he has a lot of tricks in his bag, like you guys have seen, and he's doing an outstanding job, and our returners are getting better, and there's a lot of competition there. So this will ramp up here and be exciting as we go into the preseason.
And real quick, Shane, I was texting you about Tory Taylor's punt and the hang time, and it was sitting at a 5 flat, man. Like, whoever was sitting in front of me, I forgot. I didn't catch his name. I think it was one of Braggs' friends, but he was timing it just as I was timing it, and maybe like about 0.9, maybe a point, 0.09, maybe 0.12 seconds, or it was somewhere like just a slight difference. But we're talking about a 5-second hang time, and as Richard Hightower was saying, every single one I saw, pretty much for the most part, unless except for one where he tried to end over end it, was a spiral.
Right.
Everything was a spiral, as it shot up like a bazooka out into the sky. It is so impressive, and I haven't been excited about a punter ever in my life, but this guy can do things that are special.
Yeah, think about where we play also. You know what I mean? Think about when he gets a little wind at his back. It's just the simple fact that you are timing a Chicago Bears punter for hang time. You have to refer to him just like they did on draft night. It's not a punter, it's a weapon. The fact that we're doing that in the middle of camp, I mean, I know Braggs, and they were, I think every punt they were tweeting out the hang time. And it's just, yeah, it is. It's crazy, man. Ivan, you went through all this. I watched more tape on Tory Taylor than any punter in my lifetime combined this year, just because I cannot get my brain wrapped around how he does what he does. Even beyond the hang time, what gets me is how he gets the ball just to die. And then not only does it stop, it kicks out and it'll go out at the 1 yard line. I know he had one of those. It's crazy. I can't wait to watch the entire process. But at one point, the Bears drafted a punter in round 2. I believe it was 95 and Todd Sauerbrunn, and he was, mediocre at best.
Arrogant and mediocre.
Yeah, he was a dick. Absolutely. But, this kid and the Bears were all over him. I mean, watch 1920 Football Drive. Ryan Poles kind of thought since he was going to take him, but oh man, it's a weapon. And I'm going to go off topic here a little bit because I know I've gotten texts, I've gotten so many DMs today about, people are like, oh, this offense, this is all hype. And Caleb Williams hasn't faced a live bullet in pads since November. Don't forget that part of it. It's a big deal. We're in day 2 of pads. Let's just let this process play out before we get to the ledge and decide, no, this is over, because you see it. You see the dramatics with the fans already. It's crazy.
Oh, no doubt. And as I was filming, and I'll just say this, and it's just he was a younger fan. I think he was a friend of, I don't know. He was a third wheel. It looked like he was a third wheel on a date. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So he was just sitting there. He's talking to his buddy, but he was just like, "Man, we have learned nothing about this offense right now." I was like, "You're not fucking supposed to."
Exactly.
I'm like, "You're not." And I looked at him as I'm filming. I'm like, I wanted to say something, but I'm like,
yeah.
Think about it. Like, just think about it. Like, this is a younger fan. He obviously is just very excited, but I'm like, dude, you're not. And this is for everybody. It doesn't just go for him, because we're all like, oh, the offense. And I'm like, look, like Shane pointed out, Caleb hasn't played since November. Everybody's getting used to each other. I'll say this: the defense is hungry.
Hell yeah!
You want to know something? We're going to see some tape, and you're going to see some of the defensive line's victories. But I'll tell you this: and I believe I have. I hope I saved it on there. I got a shot of Javon Dexter.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
Him and Sweat are just like twin towers.
Yeah.
And Javon just looks like he lost everything. If you remember Javon as a fat dude,
right?
Fucking forget that guy. He doesn't exist anymore.
And the best part about it is, Ivan, and we talked about this, and people tend to forget this. This is his 6th year of organized football ever that he's played. He was a guy that assumed he was going to college to play basketball. He didn't pick up football until really, really late. This is year 6. That includes high school, college, and the pros. Year 6. So the kid's just scratching the surface, and you already see. Listen, we talked about it on Keeping It 100 when Cars was on with us the other night about he's not just a 3-tech. Again, this is going to be a versatile player that they consider a weapon. They pushed him outside today to defensive end. And where does Booker go? They push Booker inside. Who was talking about that?
Hey, you better learn how to adapt. No, you're right.
Damn right.
Yeah.
And they're gonna do the same thing with Montez Sweat. I don't know if you got to see the interview with him with NFL Network with Montez.
I got to see like parts of it, then I had to go be a dad. And
So they talked about that. You could tell he didn't want to get into it too much, but he's going to be playing on the inside on some of these sub packages. You know how they come out, and he's excited about it because Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham and Matt Eberflus you've heard people talk about the positionless NBA, how these guys, you can just play everywhere.
Right.
That's essentially what you're going to start to see more and more and more in the NFL. I mean, you're going to see it on the offensive line. You're going to see it on the defensive line, especially. And you're starting to see it unfold here in Chicago, man. And it's a great thing. But if these guys have some bumps in the road, man, this is a young team. Got to give them some time. Their story is not written. Their story is not written at the end of the 2024 season. This is going to be this team, in this window for 3-4 years. So let's just pump the brakes on the dramatics, please.
No, I totally agree. Let's get back to Richard Hightower.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Larry.
how challenging is it to catch a punter when he's left-footed like that? How much different is it?
Yeah, it's different just because the spin and usually lefties have a natural drop at the end of it as well. So there are more lefties now in the league than there's been in the past, but most of the time guys are used to catching a right-footed punter. So it just spins different and it can tell on you at the very end. So punting has really grown in terms of just the types of kicks that people can do. It's not the just normal nose up, nose down anymore. So it's been really challenging for returners in this league, and I think it's just the growth and the evolution, of the position.
Last time we talked to you, you were talking about Bayless, about how you think you could be a real weapon in this new kickoff landscape that we're in. What is it about just the ability to read blocks and to do some different things as opposed to, just with the new rules that you think benefit him?
Yeah, I just think with a player like, his size, 6 foot, 200 plus pounds that can run a 4.31, like they don't make guys like that every day, with that type of speed and that type of size. So him having the ball in his hand 4 or 5 more times a game gives him a chance to bring some excitement and some really good field position. We're hoping, for Caleb or whoever the returner is back there. But the shorter fields that we can give Caleb, the better chance we have to win games, because field position, football is a territorial battle, and it's all about field position. And that's where special teams plays a critical role, that if they can shorten the fields for the offense and create long fields, i.e. guys like Tory, some of those balls he put at the 1 yard line today, now you're not driving 99 yards on Flus and Coach Washington. It's not happening. So that's the type of things we're striving for, and that's the type of unit we want to build to add value to the rest of the team.
And that's a huge factor, is being able to protect your young quarterback. And now you're seeing it with an emphasis on pass rush and defense, right? You built the defense first.
Yep.
Now you're able to protect Caleb Williams with your defense, and now you have a weapon, like we were talking, like we mentioned in preseason, like you were talking about right now, Shane, that can keep offenses with the goal line behind their back, like literally on their ass. So I'm very excited about what he has to, what Tory Taylor has to show. He had mentioned the backup punter too, and I forgot to talk about it. He was doing the same fucking shit, Shane. Like
Really?
he was and I mean, they found another weapon that can punt. He has the same type of leg, and I'm like, holy shit! Like they're like it was you could see a slight difference in Taylor, but they were going, blow for blow, if you could, imagine that as a punter, right?
Corliss Waitman.
Thank you. Yeah. So that Corliss Waitman was doing just as well at punting on Friday that I saw as Tory Taylor. So, hey, man, they have something going. It's a good thing. I don't know what happens with Corliss Waitman, but if the Bears don't find a use for him, somebody will. I'll tell you that.
Funny thing about that is Waitman was a 27-year-old rookie in the NFL, just like Tory Taylor is.
Really?
Waitman's 29 right now.
Yeah.
And Tory Taylor just turned 27. It's kind of crazy, but no, I did not know that about Waitman whatsoever. He has zero shot besides injury to make this team. Obviously, we know that, but yeah, he's auditioning for everybody else, or hey, who knows? I think it's very unlikely that you stash an extra punter on the practice squad unless Taylor, tweaks a hammy or something like that. But you see that in the NFL all the time. I mean, look at I was listening to Mike Vrabel on with Big Cat, and he was talking about special teams and kickers and punters and stuff like that. He's like perfect classic case. He's like, I had Cairo Santos in Tennessee. He's like, the motherfucker couldn't make a kick. He missed 4 field goals in one game. And he's like, the fucker goes to Chicago, and I don't think he's missed yet. You know what I mean? In his second, but that's special teams, man.
Right.
Robbie Gould didn't. The Chicago Bears weren't his first team. He was in New England.
Right.
First. Nobody talks about that. These guys bounce around, but yeah, it's interesting. definitely.
$5 from Corn Planter. Happy
Thanks,
birthday,
Corn.
Shane. Happy
Yes,
birthday to Shane.
I appreciate it, Corn. Appreciate that a lot. I got a text message. You'll appreciate this one, Ivan.
Yeah.
This morning from
Mhm.
Christopher Jackal
Oh,
telling me he's going to be traveling tomorrow. So he wanted to make sure and tell me happy birthday and was hoping that I would enjoy my birthday tomorrow on Sunday. And I said, well, thanks a lot, Bullets, but my birthday was on Thursday. So
oh God, I miss Jackal.
yeah,
I'm glad
he's
glad you
heading
reached
home
out.
tomorrow.
Okay. Well, hopefully he pops on because I'm sure people are
Yeah.
people will be eager to see his face.
Yep.
But thank you, Corn. Yeah, we'll be singing Shane happy birthday at the end of the show. So
Yeah.
let's continue with Richard Hightower.
Roma Dunze returning punts out there. Is there a discussion that you guys have over this is a valuable, obviously, offensive player? Do we want to risk him on special teams? Is that part of the conversation when deciding if Roma Dunze will be the punt returner?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always a conversation for
Fucking
any
better
player
be, I
you
tell
put
you
in
that.
any position, no matter if it's
Yeah.
offense, defense, or kicking. I do understand your question with him being a top 10 pick and having punt return value. But everyone's back there working right now. So nothing's set in stone of who's going to be the punt returner. I mean, we got Rome, we got DeAndre Carter, we
Mhm.
got Pettis, we got Valus, we got Stroman, we got Tyreek, who's itching, right? He told you guys that, and he's our number one corner. So he's itching. DJ Moore does it. So we're just training them all because guess what? We never know what situation we're going to be in a football game. So we got to get all of them ready. I don't know who the guy's going to be.
So yeah, and you'll see that in this tape coming up here. There's about 6 dudes back there.
Yeah.
Shane. There was about 6 or
Yeah.
7 dudes back there, and obviously each one has his own unique approach to it. I forgot who I was speaking to. I think it was actually I am Skokes. We were talking about Rome.
Yeah.
I believe it was him, but we were talking about Rome yesterday, punt return. I was like, I'd rather him just focus on his position.
Yeah.
If you have 6 guys back there that can do it,
Yeah.
and you trust, majority of those guys, well, then, pick one from there and let the rookie focus on being, a great wide receiver. Like I want him to be a polished wide receiver, even not saying that he isn't talented, but let's focus on position 1 before we go ahead and extend him
Totally
somewhere where
agree.
he doesn't need to be.
Totally agree. And it's just, let's just be honest. It's an extremely valuable asset that you don't want to expose and take the. Can you imagine losing Roma Dunze to injury on a punt return? I mean, it's
Livid.
yeah.
Livid.
It would put a damper on a lot of things. And I understand. Hey, you want to give him a couple of reps. Things get crazy in the NFL at times. I can remember Philly. They would put Deshaun Jackson back there only in specific big play opportunities, game on the line type situations. Maybe they deploy him that way, but if he's punt returner 1 and back there all the time, I am not a fan of that move. I know you want to get him on the field, and I want him on the field as a wide receiver, not as a punt returner.
Yeah, no doubt. And yeah, it was close. Yeah, definitely don't love having our top 10 pick returning drills every day. And look, if as long as it's not like a contact drill,
Yep.
I'm fine. If he's going there and he's just receiving punts and there's a takeoff and then he just trots off.
Yeah.
It's pretty much practice. It's pretty much just keeping yourself familiar with the muscle memory. But like, I agree. I don't want him. I'd rather him be the last resort than anything.
Yeah.
That's just me. But yeah, so Richard Hightower.
How do you think you'll make the decision? What do you expect that you're looking for a person that does emerge?
Yeah, confidence. Fearless is the number one trait, being fearless in a punt returner. So you got to be fearless and you got to have confidence.
Not Valus.
Those things you got to have before you ever step on the field. And then when we get on the field, the number one thing is ball security. So we need somebody that's going to take care of the football and give us the best field position. Those are the things I'm looking for.
Coach, now that we're
less than a week away from an actual game where you have to take the kickoff team out there. What's your level of comfort with what you think you can expect with the new kickoff versus what's still unknown?
Yeah, I think, when you think about it, is exciting. And I think your question is really is really it's really the answer, because like the unknown is what everybody's excited for. So I mean, what I expect is a lot more returns. I know the players are extremely excited about it. I know we're extremely excited to coach it and see what it is to be a part of something that's basically revolutionizing the game. You know what I mean? So to be a part of that is special, and our guys are really excited about it. So it's going to be fun, and we haven't tackled to the ground. Obviously, we haven't done it in any live action, so the first one will be obviously us in Houston. So I know our guys are really excited about that, and we're practicing kickoff return tomorrow, so it should be a good day.
And the game's basically on an island because it's the only game the first week of the preseason. I mean, how much you think you're going to hear a lot of feedback from other coaches around the league? I'm sure everybody's going to be watching very closely.
Yeah, I think everybody. I mean, really, you're getting a lot of texts now about everybody that's going to be watching it from the different coaches, and we're going to watch the preseason as well, more in depth than we've ever watched it. At times, coaches kind of watch the preseason. That's offense, defense, and special teams. But people don't really do anything in the preseason, a ton of stuff, because they want to try to, play their cards close to the vest. But this preseason, I think you're going to have to experiment with it. So we're going to see some more different things on kickoff. So I'm excited as heck for it. And really, like, honestly, the players and coaches have been practicing this formation. It's a condensed kickoff return formation. That's the way we practice. That's the way we practice for, I don't know, I've been in the league 18 years, and probably for about 15 of those years, we've practiced the way this is going to actually play out, because we want to save guys' legs with the running. So it's just something that we're going to have to see how it plays out.
I was going to mention something. You mentioned about it being a different type of like atmosphere, like a thought process, like we're doing things
Yeah.
differently. I'll say this, Shane. There was a moment where Coach Eberflus, and we talked about him not barking in the press conferences. We talked about him not showing. But I'll tell you this, in front of everybody on Friday, and I don't know who didn't see it. There was a moment where guys weren't running as fast as he wanted them off the fucking sideline. And he made them stop the whole thing, but was yelling, barking. He walked from where he was damn near to the sideline where they were, and told them to fucking run it again, pretty much. Like in so many words. I don't know. I couldn't really make out what he was saying, but I could tell there was a gnashing of teeth, and that's all I could really make out. And
Was this on offense or defense?
This was the defense going out there exchanging.
Yeah.
So there was an emphasis on get your ass moving. Like every rep matters, every play matters, even to the point where even if you're not in a play, get your ass to the play. Like from the sideline to the huddle to the play. That's what you need to be. And that's honestly, I was very impressed with Matt Eberflus and his animation and his delivery and his like desire to have it perfect.
Yeah, and Skokes says right there, so maybe we'll see that specifically documented when Hard Knocks comes out, because the cameras were right there. But listen, you remember when he came in, you remember the talk, he sat down with Bojack, Eddie Jackson, and get your track shoes ready. And if you're going to say stuff like that publicly, you damn sure better be saying it and holding these guys accountable in practice. And we've seen it, it's funny to talk about. You talk about the beard though, but it's clear as day. He's a different guy. And you know how it is. You start a new job, you're in a new relationship, whatever. You may not be who your normal self 24/7, 365 before you're, comfortable with everything. He went through a lot of turmoil last year. And then throw in on top of it, imagine the situation of really professing your devotion to a quarterback that you're going to be splitting with, not too far through the year. It wasn't too long before that you knew he was buttering up Fields' ass
Right.
and saying everything that, he needed to say just in case. So those are the pressure situations that you don't really think about, but no, man, hey, Flus better be doing stuff like that. He absolutely better, because there's question marks on this team with guys. We've seen Tevin go through it with the maturity.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some questions about another offensive lineman, and I'm not talking about Nate Davis. People may be shocked. There's been legitimate questions about the maturity of our right tackle. There was some issues last year where, hey, grow the fuck up. You're a professional athlete.
Right.
And, we'll see. Those things are all on Flus's watch.
Mm-hmm.
Got to hold these guys accountable. We've heard Phil talk about it all the time. It may not always be the best coach. It may not always be the best X's and O's guy. It's the fucking best leader of men. The guy that's going to get his message across and hold people accountable. And then the rest filters out from there.
Yeah, and you had a question from Dante. He was asking if you think Larry Borum makes his team.
Well, finances are going to be coming in because he played a little bit more last year, so he hit that bonus of, with him being a late round pick, and it actually pushes his money. It's right around $3 million. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how these offensive linemen unfold, but you've heard some positive things about Bill Murray holding up. Matt Pryor seems to be a guy that they are pretty high on, moving him around the line. Larry needs to be more consistent just with his body, taking that more serious also. He's a guy that could get sloppy and let his weight fluctuate a lot. But, he's still young and got a lot of reps. So it's going to be worth the watch to see how he reacts to all of it. It may not come down. It may just come down to finances, especially if we have to see the Bears make a move for another defensive end or a defensive tackle, or DJ Moore gets extended. Money's going to be moved around, so we'll see.
Right, and to be honest with you, the way I see things going, he just looks like the odd man out as of right now.
Yeah.
He just, with the lack of performance, from the jump, he's already been here. What is this? His fourth season?
Yeah, because he was a pace guy.
Right.
Yep.
So he's a veteran. Like, this is you're been established in this league, and you still haven't been able to crack the starting lineup. And we already have questions about your weight, like you alluded to, and your discipline. So he just seems like a guy that's not going to be able to make the cut. I might be absolutely wrong, but as of right now, doesn't look good.
Yeah, and I can just run through the names real quick. So, I mean, this is just on the offensive line. Ryan Bates going to be here. Theo Benedict, the Canadian guy. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be on the 53. He could be a practice squad guy. Then Borum, Tyree Carter, Jerome Carvin, Aviante Collins is a guy that he got some play last year. Jake Curran, Nate Davis, obviously a huge question mark. Tevin Jenkins. As good as he is, there's obviously issues there. Braxton Jones has been banged up. Doug Kramer, is he ever going to play? Bill Murray, Matt Pryor. I think Pryor is on this team just by everything that I've seen and heard. Coleman Shelton's going to be on this team. Darnell Wright. So it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of bodies there, and Borum has to prove that he can be versatile and play multiple positions like Pryor has Murray has, and it's going to come down to that and that contract restructure that kicks in for him because he was a low draft pick, not making much money, and he played a lot of snaps. I believe it goes up to like $3 million for him this year.
Okay. Yeah. So again, even with all that caveating, it's like, has his play been enough? And in my eyes, and I'm sure in your eyes, no. And
Right,
we,
yeah.
we talked about him. We even talked about that positionless type of
Mhm.
mentality to the Lions in the future with NFL teams. Does he look like a guy that can play multiple positions? No,
No.
he doesn't. He looks like a right tackle only, and he
Yeah.
doesn't look like a very athletic one at that. So
Yeah, and a guy that was, you saw the Bears draft Darnell Wright last year, and if you go back and if anybody remembers, I keep shit like this. You guys know the way. You guys have all seen me with my receipts. The second Darnell Wright was drafted, who ran to Twitter complaining about it? Larry Borum did. And then he deleted it about 3 minutes later.
yep,
And that's a bitch move. It just shows you the mentality. You're taking that the wrong way. That should motivate you to be better, Larry, because you were a 5th round draft pick. The Bears just drafted Darnell Wright in the top 10 for a reason. They believe in him. This is a new regime. You need to go out there and prove it too. Don't take offense to it. It's crazy.
yeah, and that's the mentality that the Bears are looking for. That don't like it's if it's next man up, then you have to realize that there needs to be a sacrifice if you aren't cutting it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to be a part of this team and you realize that either somebody's better than you or
Yeah.
that you're just not, you just haven't been able to do enough to show them, like, you have to be willing, if you're a good teammate, to go ahead and make the sacrifice and
Yeah.
focus on what can I do to get better, but what can I also do to help this team moving forward? And if that's coming off the bench, then so be it. But the attitude of, well, I'm going
Yeah.
to tweet some bullshit out. And that's kind of the attitude Larry Borum's had, since he's
Sure.
gotten here.
Yeah.
I can't see that gelling with what the Bears want to do moving forward.
Yeah, those things matter, Ivan. Those things are monitored. Larry Borum didn't have a change of mind and say, "Oh, I better take that down." The Chicago Bears got a hold of Larry Borum. Said, "Get that shit off your timeline." They don't want to deal with that. That is a flaw that nobody wants to deal with. Listen, we've all had our moments of non-clarity and done dumb shit. These guys just happen to have a 5th round draft pick that's a backup offensive lineman, just happens to have a fucking spotlight on him. That's how big the NFL is. They have to be smarter than that. And guess what, Larry? They also drafted another offensive tackle this year. So yeah, you're in fucking trouble, bud. Don't know what tweet that shit out and don't delete it. Maybe I need to work on my game. Maybe I need to worry about me. Maybe I should have showed up to camp at 3:15. They have him listed at 3:33. He's the sloppiest 3:33 ever.
It has to be. You know how they kind of help a little bit, and they kind of like fudge the numbers a bit on some of these guys. And like you said, it's a very, if it's 333, then it's a very sloppy 333, maybe
Yeah.
343.
They have
353.
Amagaji listed at just so this is the Bears. They have Amagaji listed at 326. They have Borum at 333. They have Darnell Wright, who has, to his credit, transformed his body. Cars and I put up a side by side of when he was coming out of Tennessee into what he looked like, towards the end of last year. They have Darnell Wright listed at 333. We'll see, but yeah, it's. I think Larry's in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. No, like, let's just say he better have a spectacular offseason if he wants to be with this team.
Or unfortunately, people get dinged or
That is
suspended or anything like that. It's again worrying about things like that, worrying about running to social media and complaining opens up a whole nother thing to me of issues. You know what I mean? Do you remember there was talk last year when we traded for Montez Sweat? And then they're like, well, how is Jalen Johnson wants to be paid? How is he going to react when the Bears just trade for a guy and pay Montez Sweat before they pay Jalen Johnson? Well, if I'm Ryan Poles, I'd be like, this is a business, just like you're going to say, if you leave here for more money, it's a business. It's the same thing. We have to sign Montez now. That's what it is. But then in the interview today, when they interviewed Montez Sweat, NFL Network, you hear somebody in the distant background beeping the horn of their car. And who is it? It's Jalen Johnson saying, I love you, Taz. And everybody in the studio starts cracking up. That's the mentality. That's the attitude you want on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Not, oh, Darnell Wright was picked, I'm going to go run to Twitter and be pissed off about it. No, it doesn't work that way.
No, I 100% agree.
Excited to figure out what the body types that you're looking for are. Are you going to still be experimenting with that as you go through the preseason, or you kind of figured that out? And have you kind of conveyed some of that to the players about what spots may be open where years back maybe they weren't?
Yeah, we think that the body type is definitely a discussion, and I'm gonna keep experimenting with it. So right now, I'm training all the body types. I'm training skill position, and I'm training what we call big skill because they don't like to be called bigs. So so we're training everyone, and then it's just a wide open competition for the best man to win.
Is there enough of an unknown that you think maybe somebody in the league might find a quirk or a loophole that will put them in a far ahead of everybody else as far as production, just because nobody really knows?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know, and no one knows. I know this: if you got a good returner, you got a chance. And this division got good returners. So if you got somebody with the ball in their hand that can break tackles and can get the ball past the 30, 35-yard line on a consistent basis with 4.3 speed, like I said, like those guys that we play in purple, like you got guys like that, then you always got a chance. Better your players are, the better chance you got to be successful.
As it relates to Tory, what in your mind qualifies as a productive training camp and a productive preseason for a rookie punter?
Yeah, I just want to see guys get better. Like I've had the ability, or I guess I should say I've been lucky enough to be around 4 different rookie punters in my career. One of them being Bradley Pinion, another one, Mitch Wisnowski, obviously Trent Gill, and then now Tory Taylor. So what I want to see from rookies is just get better every day. Like we pick one thing, we work on it. And I think Coach Flus may have told you guys this already, but like we pick a couple things throughout the last stack of practices. We call them stacks. We take the off day. We focus on one thing, because with specialists, people try to change 2 and 3 different things. It's too many moving parts. So we focus on one thing and we want to get better at it. And we focused on one thing with him this week, and he delivered above and beyond, executed on that today. So we're just looking for that each day.
What was that one thing?
Yeah, I can't disclose exactly what it. Yeah, no, he was awesome. Yeah, I can't disclose it, what we talked about, but it's basically just consistency. Yeah, I don't want to talk about every little detail of it, but I don't want to bore everybody either. Just consistency. All right. Good. All right. Thanks.
All right, that was Richard Hightower, special teams coordinators. But yeah, he was talking about consistency, and he was talking about Tory Taylor, and just like the offense, the special teams as a whole. Like I said, I think we're in good hands with Tory Taylor. As far as the return game is concerned, you have weapons back there, and I think you don't need to settle on our rookie as the
Yeah.
main attraction. But if he were to be forced into action, I would say that we should be confident enough that he could do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I brought up probably not his punt returner so much, but I brought up the name Khalil Herbert as a return guy. He's more of the one cut and go guy, and I think you're going to see a lot of that, on this new kickoff return rule, and that's probably his only shot, would be my guess on this team. If he shows some life there, you're going to see it. But just to get back to the punt return part, when he talks about consistency, to me, I don't think he's going to be the guy there, but that says Dante Pettis. There's not a lot of upside there. More times than not, he's going to catch the ball. None of that points to Eberflus to me at all. And I've seen highlights of him catching some balls that he's still a body catcher. And what is this year going into year 4? I know he can be a somewhat of a weapon as a kick returner, but you put the ball on the ground, man, that dictates games. I don't care how many playmakers you have, how good your defense is, that loses you football games.
You don't have to tell us, Shane. We've seen it with him.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
already seen it a few times with him. And I'll say this, and I'll go out on a limb. I'll put my nuts out there. I would say Eberflus should just become a running back.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, and
Yeah.
Look
Well,
at what
that's-
it did to Cordell Patterson. Look at what it
Yeah.
did to who the Packers have, Montgomery.
Yeah.
They were able to play this kind of hybrid receiver running back position.
Well, San Francisco with Debo.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's definitely not that, but it's all going to come down to him being able to secure the ball. And it's at some point, it just becomes mental.
Mm-hmm.
The two big offseason things last year, Ivan, remember we're talking, Khalil Herbert's been working on his pass blocking all offseason. It's been a priority. Eberflus Jones bought his own jugs machine. He's been catching, 200 balls a day. He muffed the first one of the preseason last year. The very first pass block that Khalil Herbert faced last year against the Green Bay Packers, go watch the very first snap of the game last year versus Green Bay. Khalil Herbert in pass pro whiffs. That shit's unacceptable, man.
It's things like that, like you said, that will be unacceptable at the end of this training camp. So, and I loved when Ryan Poles mentioned it before. It's going to be difficult to make this roster. Good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Everything that you're saying, I love it. And I see it. Like, now that I've been out there, I see it.
Yeah.
Like having it, and you might say, oh, it's the cameras or not, but like, look, these guys have a lot to fucking lose. The first time the Bears are on Hard Knocks, you have a brand new rookie quarterback. All eyes are on you. Your defense is so supposedly ready to go. All the chips are in your corner. Everything is for you. This needs to go well, and I'm sure this was emphasized from the top down.
Gotta be. Yeah, gotta be. I totally agree, man.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and hop in. We got Owens. We got Owens, Stevenson, and Everett. And then I'm going to be playing the tape from Friday. Everything that I got. I try to get a lot of the 11-on-11s, a lot of the offense. I got some of the, like I said, I got some scenic shots so everybody could see what's going on. But let's go ahead and jump in.
I'm good for a little bit longer. Kids are, well, not unintended, but kids are having fun out in the pool, and I promise we'll fire up the solo stove in a little bit and do some s'mores with them.
Let's skip out the players because I could do that, and then let's just jump into the tape.
Yeah, let's do it.
So this is what I got from yesterday. Like I said, you could see certain guys. There's Javon Dexter over there. You got Pickens stretching out. I was talking to our guy Zach Pearson right as we were leaving, And we were talking about kind of like the ticket debacle, like everything is like shrunken down. Like on the
Yep.
other side, they took away bleachers, so it's less of a crowd. And he made a great point. I'm pretty sure it's to limit the amount of not attention, but like riffraff, if you want to say it,
Sure.
incidents. It's kind of like a risk management type of approach to this off season, and it is what it is. Like I don't fault them for that, but I could point it out in a whole bunch of things that were out there, from limited amount of tickets to
Right.
the vending, right? Like you had to walk a distance to the vending, as before they used to have one like pretty much right there,
Yep.
as you could go buy a beer, go buy this. So they're doing as much as they can. As you see Devon Dexter, like huge dude.
Oh
When
yeah.
you see him right there in the stand, like he's just ginormous.
Definitely a big boy.
Oh yeah. And some of the guys, like I mean, you see some of the guys that are obviously going to be on the roster, and then there's some guys that you see they're going to be on, the practice squad or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: like everybody looks like they're fast, like they're
Yeah.
they're moving faster. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what position or where you are on the depth chart, everybody seems to be moving at a fast pace.
Yeah. Oh, and that they better be. That stuff translates, man. If you practice fast, you're gonna play fast. You don't want to see these guys just going through the motions. There's walkthroughs for a reason, but when things go live, you better be going.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you get to see any of the little flare up with Walker and Caleb stepping in? I know Flu said he missed it because he's a lot smaller than those guys, but were you in the area to see that?
Yeah. So before we get to go back, like so it was a running play.
Yeah.
I forgot who handed it off. I forgot who took the ball. I think it might have been Herbert, but he got smacked through the middle, right? He got taken down. I think Walker was involved, Dexter was
Yeah.
involved, Everett was involved, and initially it was between, I believe it was Everett and Walker, but at a certain point, Caleb had gotten involved, right, and got in Walker's face, was barking at him, and people, if anybody's worried about it, DeMarcus Walker already talked about beforehand how
Yeah.
he loves the response
yeah.
from Caleb Williams. So this is a positive in my eyes when I'm watching it.
100%.
When
And
I'm
I
watching
was-
it go, yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was glad to see they asked Flus about it today.
Yeah.
And his response, they're like, "Do you have any problem?" He's like, "No." He's like, "No, I didn't see him in there." He's like, "Of course, he's a lot smaller than those other guys. So where he was at the time, he said he didn't see Caleb in there. And is he being honest? Who knows? But I want my guy in there. You're damn right. Earning his stripes. I want my rookie quarterback. Yeah, you're damn right. Do I want him throwing punches? Absolutely not. Do I want him barking? Hell yes, I do. Hell yes.
Oh, there was people in the stands. Get out of there, Caleb. Get out of there,
Yeah,
Caleb.
oh
Like,
yeah.
no, Caleb. Like
Yeah.
there was stands that
Yeah.
excuse me, there was fans. in
Don't
the
take
stands.
your helmet off.
Yes,
Ever.
yes, they had
And
a
don't
general
throw a punch,
concern.
yeah.
Yes, a general concern for Caleb Williams. But what is there to be? First of all, I like the edge because it was the first day of practice, right? Pads, right? Full
Yep.
pads, which I was fucking pumped about because I thought we were gonna miss it by a day. So we got the first day of pads on Friday instead of the Saturday that they were reporting, and dude, everybody seemed energetic. Like the
Yeah.
defense, the defense, the offense. The defense, obviously, they had more success.
Yep.
It's early in training camp. The offense need to get kind of gel together, and they need to figure out which five they're going to stick together with. But back and forth, it was a good back and forth for the first day. Defense, in my eyes, the defensive line did win the day, as they did. Apparently, people are saying they did again today. But
Yep.
it's good to see that this team has some edge to it, and they're willing to go ahead and fight for each other. Like Everett got up in the face of Walker for Herbert, and then then you got your quarterback fucking stepping up and showing some balls and getting in the face of a guy for his teammates.
It's gonna go a long way in the locker room.
He's a freaking leader, man.
Yeah.
He's a leader. But yeah, so some of they had a nice kind of a quick practice. Not too much was done this day, but like I said, when there was action, it was pretty fun. In the distance, you could see on that second field, they started doing some walkthroughs on offense. So I tried to get as much offense as I could. You could kind of see it. A little later, you'll see a little bit more. Now I'll stop and go because they'll be on the field right in the foreground. But Caleb, even though there was times where it's like, he might be taking a sack here, I don't know. I'm saying, like, I don't know. Like, yes, did the guy get beat? Yeah, he got beat. But is Caleb going to allow himself to be sacked? I don't know. I just seeing what he could do in college, what he's done in live games. And I know this is the NFL. I just don't believe he's going to be a guy that's going to go down easy. Yep. And, he did try to, nobody really touched him, even though there was a kind of like a somewhat of a decent pressure. But at a certain point, he just kept continuing to play and looking for somebody just to try to complete a pass or, work on something instead of just taking it and dying. There was a couple times where he did throw it away, which I was happy about, where it was like, all right, there's nothing. So there is there's an understanding of, hey, I don't have to be a hero right here. Let me go live another day.
Yeah, man, those are the types of things that you want to see. There's the handoff to DeAndre. He had a couple nice highlights today in the video package that the Bears released. But you talk about speed. That's a definite upgrade in speed at running back with DeAndre Swift, and you throw that's another name we got to throw in there too about special teams. There's a lot of hype around Ian Wheeler right now.
Yeah.
Did you get to see him?
He had,
Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, he had a couple like handoffs.
Yeah.
He had one where he just kind of extended the play where he took it to the house, but it was like it was over. But he got a significant amount of yards. Like it was quality yardage. He looked fast, through the hole. He definitely has a quick first step, and he made at least one guy think twice, right?
Yep.
So he's making guys miss. And when you saw, when he ran it out and ran to the end zone just to get that conditioning in, you can see that it's effortless movement. You could see that his stride and his speed, he picks it up naturally, and it doesn't look like he's, he does not digging in to try to pick up speed. It's just like a gallop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some guys shagging punt. Can you take that back just a little bit to the guys getting the punts? Because it started off with Rome.
We'll see. We'll go maybe a little bit here.
There's Rome there. But just to give people kind of an idea of who was back there. I know I saw Rome. Travarius Moore was a free agent DB that they signed. Dante Pettis was back there. Here they go right now. So 81 is Pettis now, yeah. And then Freddie Swain is 86. That was the other one. But here comes Rome. But yeah, this stuff I have no problem with getting him some reps. I hope he doesn't win the job there.
No, and like I said, he seems comfortable.
That's Travarius Moore right there. That's the DB.
And sorry if you see a shadow, it's my thumb getting in the way. I apologize. You'll see another thumb in the way when Greg Braggs.
Freddie Swain is 86. And then this is Dante Pettis here, 81.
Mm.
And then 39, that's Blackwell, right? Josh Blackwell, he was back there. That
39.
That would interest me. I like Blackwell, and he's making the team based purely off of the special teams play.
Oh yeah. And this was just like a light. It was 11 on 11, but no helmets, so it was
Yep.
just kind of like a walkthrough. Um, you got to see some. I'll zoom up. Like from my perspective, I was really zoomed in, so I was
Mhm.
like afraid I wasn't going to get a lot of the completions. So I didn't want to like move the camera. So
Sure.
next time I'll try to zoom in a little bit more.
And if you look right there behind, well, right there at the bottom of the screen, those are Hard Knocks people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were everywhere.
Yeah.
It not as many as you like. I say that they're everywhere, but like
Yeah.
they weren't as many as you thought. Like it wasn't like full of just cameras.
Sure.
Obviously they have hidden cameras and ability to wire up whatever they want. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, they still were out there. They were present. The security was definitely beefed up.
Oh yeah. Now, I've heard they have some pretty impressive drones. Hard Knocks. Did you see any of those flying around up above
I
during
was
practice?
looking. I was looking early. I didn't see any. But
You're too
after,
busy looking at the sleeves on Bragg's knees.
yeah, I was- yeah, it's cool. I mean, they had their little green stripes. So I was like, I mean, they look kind of cool.
Yeah.
But but yeah, no, I was definitely watching. The action here. They had people on the rooftop.
Yeah.
They had a couple cameras up there in certain spots. There was, if I'm not, and I'll pause it right here. There was right over here, as you could see how they have like a little patio up top there.
Yeah.
This is what I was, addressing before. So behind you, where I'm at is two sets of bleachers. Uh, Two sets of bleachers. I believe it used to be three, but they were kind of, they're older. Now we have a little awning over there, so the sun
Yeah.
isn't as bad. And then there's another one off to the left that I think is for a certain group. And then they had like pretty much a huge canopy, like for friends and family on the other side.
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm looking at this, and like I said, I was talking to Zach, about this, and I was just like, well, like that looks like you could fit another fucking set of bleachers. Right here looks like you could fit another set of bleachers.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
he was, I believe it was Zach who was mentioning it as well. The like land behind them, I think it's like I think it like stops. Like you can't do anything with that land in that like county or whatever. Like we were
Okay.
like I said, we're talking just like I'd have to look it up, and he was mentioning it. So like I guess they can't really extend out more, but you could definitely fit a couple of more bleachers to add for fans. Like the
Sure.
fans that are standing on the line, they don't have to stand on that line, dude. Like
Yeah.
you could figure something out.
Right. Well, listen, we're talking about Family Fest and all of that, and I know Dion went and she asked the question after she was on with us, and they said, there was a concert, and there was a concert date scheduled for which whatever, that's bullshit. It's we know it is. Not saying that Dion asking it is bullshit. I don't give a shit if there's a concert. Have the Family Fest when you have the combined practice with Cincy before the preseason game. Have it at Soldier Field. Cincy's staying down there overnight.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they're gonna have to go anywhere. You could do that. You'd feel Joe Burrow and Caleb Williams in a practice setting like that. You'd fill Soldier Field for the fans. Give them a day. It just rubs me the wrong way, man. I don't know. Seems like they're taking charging more and more and more for literally everything and taking more and more away from the fans overall. It irritates me.
No, you're absolutely right. And I said the inclusivity is going to be it's going to be bad it's going to be negative. They continue it. I think it's going to be negative.
Sure.
Hopefully when they, when they settle on the stadium deal, hopefully they open up a little bit more. But we'll see. I'll say one thing though before we get to like the end of this. You'll see a lot more of Caleb throwing the ball. My God, like it is lightning quick. Some of these passes, some
Yeah.
of the throws that
The
he
release,
makes,
yeah.
the release. There was a couple times where I'm like, okay, where you going, Caleb? Boom, it's fit in, and the cornerback has no chance, and the guy that's sitting there, in a zone waiting, really has no chance because it's out of his reach in a hurry, on target.
Right.
And there's a couple times, he had a couple deep balls that were nice. One to Tyler Scott that was just on the money in stride in the end zone.
Yeah,
Like some,
35 yards. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I can probably pull
yeah,
that up real
yeah,
quick before I bounce and
yeah, for
play
sure.
that for everybody because I think I have you fill some time and let me look and see what I have. I
Yeah,
think
right.
I have it here.
Yeah, no, it's just impressive to see from what we had with Justin, what we had with Mitch, any quarterback for that matter, besides
Yeah.
like I would say Jay, because Jay would get the ball out like, quickly. I mean, it might be to the wrong guy,
Yeah.
but
But not always consistently
but
either with that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But with Caleb, it just seems to me that he's just so comfortable. Like you said, the consistency, that's just him. Like
Yep.
that's how it's going to be delivered. That's how it's going to be. And to see some of these passes over the middle, some of these passes,
Yep.
to the outside, it's just like, damn, like that, like wow, that's on target, quick, and the Bears are going to get a lot of yardage after the catch because you
Sure.
were able to get it there in a hurry on the money, and now he's running downfield. So it's very exciting. I was, we talked about it, but seeing it is something different.
I just about have this.
Yeah.
I think this is the one right here. Make sure. Yep. Yeah, we even get a little bit of a commentary. Let me load this
Yeah.
up.
No, go ahead. Like I said, Caleb and the offense it's going to be, I would say in the training camp portion of the season, it's going to be what it is. It's still growing, it's still building. You still have to set on the center. You still have to, make sure guys get through this training camp healthy. As far as, them having a bad few days, I'm not really worried about it. Like I said, as long as there's growth with the quarterback, as long as you settle sooner rather than later on an offensive line, I think things will begin to, progress in the right direction for the Bears, once the regular season kicks off. But I'd rather them be prepared, going into game one than unprepared.
Yeah, I think this video is compliments of, I think it's called Chicago Bears Football Connection.
Mhm.
I think is who tweeted it out, but
Come on, Scott. Mhm.
we want to see a lot more of that, but it's little things, guys, on that, like a play like that you want to see. You want to, granted, it was in the back of the end zone, but you want to see those plays. You want to see the receiver, when they catch it, be in a position that they don't have to break stride. And maybe he has another 40 yards to go. Those are the things that we didn't see from Justin. You could see him with the big plays, but go back to the Atlanta game last year. He had the nice sideline play to DJ Moore, but it let him out of bounds from where he threw the ball. And if you go back and watch that, if he puts it upfield just a little bit more, DJ's got a chance to house call it. Those things are what I see consistently from Caleb Williams that we didn't see before. And those are separators. So, yeah, we'll see.
No doubt. And like you said, the little things are what we're seeing. That's a big difference. Putting it
Yeah.
on the money, putting it in stride. and you'll see a couple more. And to be honest, I like what the running backs are doing as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned Ian Wheeler, but there was a couple runs by Herbert that looked nice. There was a run by Roshan Johnson that was a pretty much an angry run, even though we're in shorts and pads, and not necessarily going 100%. Even though there were certain plays where it definitely felt like it. But he looked good, so I was impressed by the running game. Blasingame had a catch that he took, extended, and he took for a big gain. There's our buddy Greg Braggs right there. He wouldn't sit down, that Greg Braggs. Like, believe it or not, with both knees shot, he just couldn't
Yeah.
sit down. Man of the people. But yeah, so happy with the running game. Like, well, not happy with the running game, but like eager to see what they, produce this season, because it seems like each one of those guys, can add a certain dynamic
Yep.
to this team. Even if Khalil Herbert is here or not, they still have a good group of backs.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with where they're at right there. And who was that running?
Roshan
That
Johnson.
was Roshan right there.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, 23. But yeah, and obviously, hey, they paid DeAndre Swift, a pretty lofty sum. So he's gonna be the main focus. But I'm not sure if people realize how good he can be in he can be the exit plan. He can be the dump off guy.
No,
Did he
absolutely.
throw that one out of bounds?
He threw it away. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, thank God.
Yeah, no,
It was in a weird angle there. I'm like, he did not throw that one down the field that way, did he? But
yeah, no.
right there, Ivan, back that up. So that's to
Yeah.
Gerald Everett. The arm angle, man, and then the quick release. Though that we didn't see that, bro.
No, it would have took a while for Justin to
This,
trip all out.
then this, then this, then this. That is when you say that's Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes, like, that's what we're talking about right there.
Mm-hmm.
Changing your launch point, your arm angle with the quick release, that lets a guy like Gerald Everett make a play. Those
No doubt.
things add up.
Yeah, and looking at
even that, man.
yeah,
It's a dot.
looking at what pause it right there. Looking at how he was in the pocket, like in the pocket, even though there was pressure, he
Yeah.
didn't seem like he was still like, all right, I'm gonna make sure I work on something. Like, the play is going to continue. Yeah, he is going to get sacked. If he was going to get sacked, they would have touched him.
Yeah.
They never really touched him, even though it looked close. Like, they're obviously not going to dive for his legs or nothing like that in practice. I would fucking hope not. But he still was able to focus. All right, look for the guy that's open.
Yeah.
Let me try to create. And yeah, I was impressed that the few times that he was confronted with pressure and nowhere to go,
Yeah.
he was able to go ahead and decide, hey, get the fucking ball away. Just throw it away.
Your teammates are in the NFL too. They're pretty fucking good.
Right.
You can put them in a position to succeed. You dump the ball. I don't give a shit who it is. You dump the ball off to DeAndre Swift, dump it off to Roshan Johnson. We just saw Gerald Everett. They can make plays.
Mhm.
Get it out of there.
And that just missed. I believe it was
Jerome.
to Rome. Yeah, it was to Rome. It just missed. But again, you can see like the difference in how the ball is delivered, the difference in
Sure.
how the ball is getting there. You know what I'm saying? I went a little bit too far. But I mean, look at that right there. It's just like, if Rome has another step, he's still running. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just off.
But
But
this is, listen, would you have liked to seen that completed? 100%. But this is where you get that stuff worked out.
and that's the Tyler Scott throw again.
So live, was that the next play?
I believe so. If I remember, I think there might have been a couple of like fuck ups,
Okay.
and I just didn't, I just stopped the recording and just left it be. But for the most part, these are like the plays that got off, like, because there are false starts and shit like
Yep.
that they stop. So
Perfect.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I'll be there 2 more days. I'll try to get the same. Well, I will get the same exact thing unless they tackle me and make sure I don't do it.
Shot
Yeah,
of Bragg's ass there.
yeah. I was trying to get his. I was trying to get his legs, but ended up he moved and his whole ass got in the way. But yeah, here's the end of practice there. But it was fun, man. Like I was excited. Like I mentioned before, we talked about the guy Caleb
Yeah.
Williams, Shane, and like I said, from that first throw, I was just like, I can't miss any snap. Like,
Yeah.
I can't miss any break of the huddle. And like, there was time, like there's some, like I said, there's some video that I have that's just like they broke the huddle, something went wrong. But
Sure.
you could see how he's comfortable walking around. He's cool, calm, collected. He's talking to other guys, offense and defense. And I'm not there, and we still have a season to get through, and he's still a rookie. But from my perspective, just my eyes from a distance, the guy looks like he belongs. Period. Like it doesn't look like the NFL, and I know he won't tell you this, right? And I'm not trying to say it to be arrogant, like he's going to light the world. He's Pat Mahomes. It's about to fucking be over. Even though I hope that's the case, he just looks like he belongs. Like he's an NFL football player, regardless of the name. Like he's a football player. Period.
They interviewed him on Sirius XM, and they talked about the pressure being the number 1 pick. He's like, yeah, I don't really believe. I don't use the word pressure because I don't believe in it. Because he's like, if you feel pressure, that means you're not prepared. That's a pretty amazing mindset, if it happens to be true. But did you want to address this?
What was I don't believe I heard it. Scopes. Go ahead and go ahead and do share. He was sitting right next to me behind Bragg's. But yeah, I don't remember if he said anything prior to me getting there or what. But either way, like I told everybody on the last show, I was like, I really don't give a fuck. Like, have him walk right up to me, and I'm like, I'm not gonna delete this out of my phone, sir.
Yeah,
like I'll leave. But regardless,
nothing that the fans are recording is going to hurt anybody. Like I said, if I would love to ask Kevin Warren how the New England Patriots for years and the Minnesota Vikings for years can stream training camp practices for their fans.
Shane, they have highlight reels. The Lions, I just seen like 4 or 5 teams highlights of practice.
Yeah.
Where are the Bears highlights of practice?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all condensed into, I mean, this is what drives me nuts too. And it's just so political, and you're going to throw picks in practice. You're going to fumble the ball in practice. You're going to have misfires, incompletions. Watch any Chicago Bears highlight that's put out by them. And if it's the starting quarterback throwing the interception, they will not show you the quarterback throwing the football in the highlight.
No.
They'll show Tyreek Stevenson picking the ball off. They won't show you who the quarterback was. Who cares? It's going to happen. Keep the shit real. So Skoke says the head of security told someone recording to put down the camera or you're going home in a very stern way. Even Greg said it's just a bad look for the old guard in Hallis Hall. Yeah. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Going home, Shane. Imagine it. You sat there, right? You sat there waiting for tickets, right?
Yeah.
You were one of the lucky people that got tickets that didn't have to go get fucked by somebody on StubHub that was a piece of shit trying to sell them for $500. You get these tickets. You're excited to see Caleb Williams. You want to take a couple of videos, and you get this fucking guy who's probably, been there for 20 years. Like, look, I'm not going to attack him, but you have to understand, this is a new generation where everything is being recorded. Everything is content.
You have Hard Knocks there.
Hard Knocks
documenting
is right
everything.
They should honestly.
Ivan Vargas with a phone isn't going to make a blip on the radar. That's the sad part.
Believe me, if that man walks up to me and tells me I'm going home,
Yeah.
HBO Hard Knocks better get a fucking video of me.
Just turn the TTNL t-shirt inside out real quick before you start going crazy.
Yeah, shout out to Shane. Shout out.
I work for CHGO. I'm Marcus.
CHGO. My name is Greg Braggs. No, but I like in all honesty, like like Greg said, it's a bad look.
It is.
Get over it. Get over it,
Yeah.
and get over yourself. Like that's ridiculous.
A man with his phone's gonna dictate the outcome of our season. I mean, we just showed you guys what Ivan recorded. Did you see anything there that was like, oh shit, we don't want that one getting out there?
And I recorded everything. I recorded everything I got.
It's football practice. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Lawrence is right. Yeah.
Yeah, the entitlement. The exclusivity is going to end sooner rather than later, but I think they're just like right now, that old guard is just digging in before.
Yeah.
I think they got to go, because if you're Kevin Warren and you have a vision for the Bears, shutting your people out is not it.
That shit should be asked to Kevin Warren point fucking blank. Kevin, why, if there's a fan in the stands that this may be their only chance to ever be on the Hallis Hall grounds, ever again, they might not even be able to afford to go to a regular season football game. Why are your security guards telling fans that are excited and recording a play in practice that if they don't put their phone away, they're going to be going home? I mean, get the fuck out of here. I'd like to hear his response to that. Tell me why, Kevin. Tell me why. I bet you the Hard Knocks cameras are going to be set up in the beginning of the fucking show, showing Kevin Warren get up to report to work at 4 a.m. and stand in front of the Hallis Hall fucking statue and all of that nonsense because that fucking matters. I bet that shit, that's fine though. You know what I mean? Right. All the propaganda and that bullshit.
Right.
Vargas can't be in the bleachers recording a fucking hitch pass to Gerald Everett.
Right. And it's as simple as, and it should be worded as such. Kevin Warren, the fans, they are excited about this year. They're excited about Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
A lot of them have been disappointed with the reduction in tickets and stuff like that. But say it like this: why are your fans being threatened with removal from your grounds by just simply recording the players that they love? And they had to go through a shitty process just to get there.
Exactly.
Like, why are they being threatened with removal when they're just happy to be here trying to see your product? Right. You're literally trying to limit your product to the fan base that loves it. It doesn't make sense.
Turn to that security guard and you say, I was here recording Cade McNown's dumbass too. I was here recording Jay Cutler, Kyle Orton. That shit fires me up. I already have in my head, I can see how Hard Knocks is gonna start. It's gonna be pitch black out, and then Kevin Warren getting out of his freshly cleaned vehicle that he washed himself, and he's gonna stop in front of the Hallis statue to start the day. All of that scripted bullshit. I can already see it unfolding in my brain.
Oh yeah, I mean, like you said, that propaganda bullshit, it doesn't work for some, but quite honestly, I hope if anybody is watching out there that, honestly, go ahead and ask that question tomorrow morning or Monday morning on some of the radio shows. Go ask, why are fans still being threatened with removal when there's a product that's about to be on national television? Like, you're about to see this live.
Exactly.
There's no excuse for this. There's none. So
they talked to, and after this, I do have to bounce because I'm already late.
Sure.
Tom Waddle was talking about everybody. I'm sure probably everybody's watching the Giants Hard Knocks off season and how it's to me really painted Joe Shane as a mouth breathing idiot who's really signed. I mean, when they struggle this year, he's gonna get fucking fired.
That might be the last time they ever do this, Shane.
Tom Waddle said it. Tom Waddle said the same thing, and he's, talked to people. They're like, they can't believe because they have the right. Can you imagine? They've let so much on there be shown. Can you imagine what the Giants? Oh, we can't show that. Can you imagine what that shit was like?
Oh yeah, right. And like you said, it's so lax. Like they're so laissez-faire with how their approach is. It's like,
Saquon didn't even know his phone call was being recorded.
Exactly.
He didn't even know it.
God.
He came right out and said that.
Wow.
It's just, I mean, Joe Shane, man. This is the Giants are pre-gaming to his firing. They have video documentation of it. He's just sitting there. He's got his hoodie pulled all the way up, and he's doing this and just stressed the fuck out. And yeah, it's uncomfortable to watch, man. It's bad. One of my best friends growing up, Ian, I was talking to him. He's a huge Giants fan. And he's like, yeah, I got to catch up on him. I'm like, have fucking fun. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, your GM he's a dummy. Yeah. He is.
She's not doing well.
Maybe it's the name. I don't know, but we'll see. So, all right. Love you guys. I'm going to get out of here and
love you, Shane.
Go make some s'mores for those heathens upstairs. So, all right.
Sounds good.
Later,
right,
fellas.
Later. All right, that was Shane Marsaw. Thanks, Shane, for joining us. Obviously, it's been a fun time talking about this Bears team. Looking forward to what Game 1 has in store. And Game 1 literally is right around the corner. Talking about what is this? 5 days from now? Yeah, about 5 days from now, August 1st. We're going to see Bears Texans at the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Eager to see it. After what I've seen in practice, I just want to see, even if it's still not a finished product, I want to see something that is more than just a practice. And there's a limited amount of time. Excuse me. There's a limited amount of time for the young guys to get acclimated. Especially our rookie quarterback, Caleb Williams. Yeah, but I feel like this defense has definitely carried the momentum from last season into this season. Like the guys feel loose. They look loose. They are energetic. They're vocal. They're flying around. It seems like a defense that's poised to take another step. I hope that the offense can, match that, obviously, on the offensive line. But, as far as the defense is concerned, if you're looking for something to be, excited about, if you're looking for something to have trust in, I believe this defense is going to be it. Will the offense, struggle? I don't know. Let's see how it is out there. Should the defense struggle? If the defense struggles, we have bigger issues, but I think this defense is poised for success. I think some of the struggles on offense are because this defense is taking strides forward, and they were, like I said, they were built. It was built before the offense. That was, we kind of had a question marks with Ryan Poles and some of the things that he did, but the defense, he gave Flus a defense to work with. Now you have a defense that's ready to protect a younger quarterback with an offense that has weapons on it. And everything seems to be kosher when it comes to a game plan. Now, even the best laid plans can be, screwed. And it's just like, I don't think that this is the case. I really believe that the Bears, from top to bottom, found guys, personality-wise, talent-wise, that are going to give you their very best game in and game out. And if you don't, you're going to be on the outside looking in or not even on this team. So let's go ahead and jump into Matt Eberflus. I'm going to skip over the players for tonight because I'm getting a little tired. We're going to go ahead and jump to Flus, and then we'll wrap it up there. This was Flus today, talking about the practice, talking about today's practice and the Bears' mission. Oh, sorry. Let me go ahead and restart that. It did not pop up.
So I wanted to thank the fans out there today. And I want to apologize to them too. We should have had the team periods on the far field. So we got to think forward in that. So it's a better experience for the fans. And we're up here on 1 and 2. So they had to walk over. So that's part of doing that better. But again, today was, I told the players at the end of the day, it's about focus and finish. So the focus needs to be better. You guys saw the pre-snap penalties. And it was some of that was a function of what our defense does on, in terms of that, so it really have to wire in and focus on the offensive side. And we had some really nice plays on the ball on defense as well. So you got to give credit to those guys. They did a nice job there in terms of the interceptions. That was really good. And then really I talked to them about at the end this is what training camp's about. This is about building up the callus. You have to go through hard. There is no trick. There is no easy way to be able to go through hard and execute, on the 4th play, 5th play, 6th play. Those are the most important plays of drives. That's when you're in the red zone. That's when you're in your 4-point plays. That's when you're in 3rd down, 4th down, midfield to keep drives alive. And we have to focus during that time and really execute during that time. And that's the process of this. Mm-hmm. So hats off to the defense. They played well most of the day, played well in the 2-minute. And again, the offense, obviously had its struggles today. But I also said to them after the practice, I said, guys, all 3 phases have to play well for us to be a good football team. So there's going to be days where the defense struggles or special team struggles, but it's got to be all 3 phases hit on all cylinders. And we're just not there yet. We're not there yet. And of course, it's early in training camp and I don't expect us to be. But I do expect us to grow and learn from this and get better. And for the day off, as we watch this tape the rest of the day, and the guys have the day off tomorrow, and then come back swinging. It's always about the response. I want to see the offense come out swinging on the next stack of practices, and that's what we're looking for. I think that's all I had to say on those things. But open up to questions.
You guys had a handful of pre-snap penalties yesterday as well. Or is this like an attention to detail thing? How do you? It would be real easy if it was one guy.
Yeah, I would say yesterday was more of a function of us using different cadences, and today was more of a function of what the defense was doing and focusing in. If I was to answer it that.
Matt, what did you observe about Caleb, what he did today, and how he responded to kind of a tough day? I know you.
Yeah, I thought he responded well. So when you throw an interception, what is your response? And I thought he responded well in 7-on-7 after those plays. And again, we were doing all downs today, so we're doing situational football, 3rd and 4th down, quad zone stuff. I thought the response was good.
How do you evaluate a 2-minute drill, 2-minute offense when Allen and Moore are not out the field?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't have your best players out there, but I evaluated and I told the quarterbacks afterward that you have to make it game-like. So you have to be able to feel the rush and deliver the ball in a timely fashion. And again, sometimes the protection is good. You can ride the pocket, ride the wave, and deliver your strikes on the field, but you have to be able to feel those things and then deliver the ball on time.
With the way Billings challenges you up front on the defensive line, what is the, correction point for the offensive line to get through that, to move in a way that eliminates these mistakes?
You said Billings?
Yeah, the way Billings challenges you up front with kind of baiting the false starts. How do they respond to that?
Yeah, Billings challenges it in a lot of ways. He's very strong at the point. He's a very stout nose tackle, one of the stoutest in the league. So moving him off the ball is always an issue. So it's important to get that fundamental down first. And then really it's about focusing on what the quarterback's doing, not what the defense is doing.
You mentioned the cadence was part of the issue yesterday. That's correct. that was the pre-snap penalty issues
But
yesterday.
yeah, we can look at the transcript. I think I said, that's what I said. Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to confirm that. What is that a function of? Or is the offensive lineman not hearing it right?
It's really a function of using that as a weapon. So we need to have different cadences to use it as a weapon. So when you're working new together, it's going to take time. It's going to take time to be able to do that. So going on 1, going on 2, going on 3, dummy counts, silent count, all the things that you do as an offense.
Yesterday, there was a moment where Caleb jumped in to kind of separate the offense and defense. I was just curious as coach what you thought about that moment. And
Was it like a scrum or something?
yeah, did you see
As
it?
we're getting heated, yeah, I was there, yeah.
DeMarcus Walker and Gerald Everett. He jumped right in there to kind of push DeMarcus Walker away. I mean, do you want to see that from your quarterback?
Yeah, I don't remember him in there. He's not as big as those guys. Maybe I couldn't see him, but yeah, I'm okay with that. That's leadership, jumping in there when he sees fit and doing that.
Matt, do you mind a big picture question for me?
Yeah.
Early last year, you guys lost 14 in a row. Things weren't good for you or for, around the city.
What do they call you? That's Debbie Downer question.
No, it was.
He's trying to set me up.
I'll get there. Do you have an appreciation?
Was that Saturday Night Live that said that? Yeah. Oh, we got reruns. We'll put Pat's face on it right there. Show videos.
Do you have an appreciation for how
Okay, see that like Scottish Bear said, this is definitely Flus's best conference. Yeah, press conference yet. As far as him being like he's giving you, what you need to know. He's also able to go ahead and dish it back if he's getting a little bit of ribbing. So I like comfortable Flus. I mentioned to you guys, on the field, and I am Stokes could mention that, as well. Talk about it too. When he was, drilling those guys about getting on and off the field. Excuse me, hit the mic. Sorry about that. About getting on and off the field as fast as he wanted it. You know what I mean? Like that was something that was like, okay, Flus, like you are now settling in to this role. You are now comfortable with the players around you. You are now, it seems like you have grown into being the head coach of this football team as much as, like, we'll say Ryan Poles has grown into the GM that he has. Like, first time GM, first time head coach, there was going to be some growing pains, and I just feel like he's settling in. He's settling. Again, I apologize for hitting the mic. I'll be a little bit more aware of it next time.
Week 4, you lose that heartbreaker at home against the Broncos. Some people are calling for your head. Some people are saying the team's not very good. Now, you've got this optimism, and it's only been.
Yeah, I believe this, and this is going to be, I always say this every single year, every team is different, right? You're at a different spot every single year. You lose players every year, you acquire new players every year. Is our roster in a better position than it was in year 1 and then year 2? Yes, no question. And there should be optimism, but we have a lot of work to do on the grass before we get to the first game. So we know what our vision is, but we have to focus on our mission. And the mission is to get to the first game, the best prepared team that we can be, and playing at a very high level, the best we can for that first game. And then we got to get better every single week as we go. And that's every team.
David started practice today, but he was out by the time one-on-ones rolled around. Is he going to be day-to-day? Did he do something today?
Yeah, he's day-to-day. We'll see how it goes. When a guy strains something during that time, we always pull to make sure that we can get the full rest for that particular day and then get him back to the next practice as fast as we can.
You guys have talked about the importance of having that depth in the interior, having Bates slide over. I obviously haven't committed to that center role yet. Is that part of the reason why you guys haven't locked in a center yet? Is just no one having the versatility of the guard positions?
It is. Versatility on the offensive line is something that we have now, and we didn't have before as much. So the depth is crucial, and always getting a pair, and I always say a pair and a spare at each position, and that's what we did today.
Does it start to become a dependability issue when you talk about Nate, his ability to consistently practice when the pads come on? Because does that become something that you got to kind of work on and start to develop some contingency plans because he is in and out so often?
Yeah, I mean, availability is everything, right, in this league. And so you got to be available to practice. You got to be able to go through hard in terms of, doing hard better during training camp. And that's all part of preparing for the first part of the season, to be able to do that, to callous yourself. That's your.
First of all, doing hard better. Sorry to be picky, but it sounds fucking dumb. Anyway.
Individual responsibility to the football team. And when you're not out there, guess what? That doesn't happen. So availability is important at every position. And sometimes guys get injured and that's the way it goes. And there's some things you can do, but they have to get back as fast as possible. Because to me, there's a lot of competition on this roster.
Man, how much of an adjustment is it at all when you're the two centers snapping to Caleb snap, I believe, with different hands?
Yeah. So under center, not a big deal, surprisingly. And then the spins are what's a little bit different, what they got to get used to. So one comes back as a knuckle, one spins it. So they have to get used to it with each guy. But if we're preparing for the week, for a game week, they're going to get used to that. It's pretty easy to get used to. But when it's series by series, you got to make sure, hey, I'm looking at this quarterback. Okay, here, he's the guy that spins it. This is the guy that knuckles it. So that's really the major difference.
It looks like the past couple of days, Montez might have gotten a piece of Caleb Williams. Are you guys trying to simulate a little bit more pressure for him to feel that, or are those maybe overzealous moments?
No, he knows he should not do that. I threw him out of the drill today, and then I pulled him aside, and I said, look, you cannot do that. You'll be sick if something happens, okay? And that's what I told him, and he understands that. And does he get around there fast and all that stuff? Yeah, he does. But he also he's a superior elite athlete. He's good enough to be able to stop and move away. So he's got to be disciplined that way, and he will in the future.
And are you guys ready to say publicly whether or not Caleb and your starters are going to go through?
We'll say this right there. I like that Flus went ahead and addressed something, and I like the answer he gave. Obviously got a player going a little bit too hard, a little bit overzealous, obviously a special athlete. And Flus was able to address it, dictate to the player what he wanted, and it is what it is. I like that. Hopefully that's the case, but I don't think Flus in year one would say anything like that. I think he'd kind of fumble around with his words and be a little bit long-winded, but I like the way Flus has been delivering some of his answers. I like some of his answers, and I like the way he's delivered them as well.
We're going to do it Tuesday. Yes, sir.
This is a super nerdy question, but
those are usually good ones.
My specialty, yeah. Are the two fields 1 and 2? Are the grass cut differently, or is that just because of
they're different Bermuda?
Okay.
Yep.
So they're not different lengths?
No, they're different grass. Different grass. The one field here is a Bermuda that's been used in the NFL for a while. Kansas City has it on their field, and the other one's the one we have in Soldier Field, Tahoma 31, engineered by Oklahoma State, and that one's on the number 2, the darker field.
So much about the offense and a lot of our questions in that regard, but has the defense gone to another level? I mean, is that something that you've been able to discern or see yet in this training camp?
Yeah, not really yet. And I said it yesterday in the interview I was doing for Sirius XM. But I said that what we do on the grass is what matters. Okay, so all the talk of all these numbers and all that stuff. I mean, people say top 5. What does that really mean? What does it mean? We're at the end of the year, and you're telling me we're a top 5? How do you know that? So to me, it's about what we do on the grass. And people can say all that, but to me, that doesn't mean anything. That's not a hill of beans to me. It's about what we do out there and how we execute as a group and the continuity and the availability we have together and start building that up. And then we'll see where we are.
Okay, Flus. All right, Flus. Okay. Like I'm saying, the more I watch it, the more I agree with Scottish Bear that this is his best interview ever. It started out that way, and it's continuing. Like, yeah, it matters about what you do on the grass. Like I said, even I come out here and like we're doing this because we want to analyze everything, and I like to hear at least from the horse's mouth, as much as they want to give us, right? Like as far as the players and the coaches are concerned, and we could be, dissect it as much as we want. But at the end of the day, and obviously I'll be here just the same when the real games start. We'll be here. TT and L will be here. That for a fact. It'll be the same type of approach. Like it's. I want to see what this team does. Obviously, like Coach is saying, on the grass. Like that's 100% factual. But like, there is a story that gets built, with every team, and for us fans, we kind of just live and die with it. So I love both aspects. I love that coach and the team are focused on what they do, in between the lines, right? What they do come game day. Like that's what matters, not the stats, not the top 5, top whatever, not the individual, but the team. And I know there's some of our team stats, but at the end of the day, did you reach your goal? Is your goal accomplished? That is what I'm really liking out of Flus. That's kind of what I've, deciphered from what he's been, how he's been talking, how he's been acting, and even what he just said right there. It's a focus on the totality of the mission and not just, oh, we got here, we were a top 5 defense, but we ended up whatever it is, 7-11 or what have you, and we didn't reach our goal. So I'm really pumped about how Flus has carried himself this season.
The reason why the grass is 2 different kinds on 2 different fields, is that intentional?
Yeah, it is, because you play on different surfaces. We certainly have to have the surface that is there for Soldier Field. That's a great surface. We put that up against anybody. I mean, that thing holds up tight. They engineer it where the roots grow sideways into each other, so it's really firm. It doesn't dig up, and everybody wants that field. But we also play on other fields, other Bermuda grasses that. We used to have 419 here. Now we got a new strand that's really what Kansas City used. A lot of teams use it, and it's a good grass too.
So it sounds like you're talking about some weed.
So like as a staff, you guys are kind of challenging the endurance of that starting 4 on the D line. With Javon specifically, how have you seen him respond to that? You've been letting him go 8-10 plays in a row without substitutions. How have you seen him respond to that in terms of consistency with get off, but pad level also?
Yeah, I think the get off. I told him the other day. I think his get off is better. I think the way he's using his steps, working towards the quarterback. I like that. He has to use his length better. Because he's a long player. He has to use that extension and be able to play off of that, because I think he'll put more stress when he does that on the offensive line.
Coach, I saw Coach Saban was here early this week. Was he here like speaking or talking to the team?
Yeah, he was here visiting me. He was. I texted him right after he retired. I said, "Anytime you want to come up, Coach, and visit, please do." And he did that. So he came up and visited. We spent about 2.5 hours together, and basically our conversations were on leadership, the football team, and really his process and his cadence and rhythm of working with the quarterback, with Tua, with Jalen, and what was his experiences during that time, during the camp phase of it, and also during the season. So I gleaned a lot of information, a lot of wisdom from him, and it was great to see him. It was great to see him. He's been a mentor of mine for a long time. We were together back in 1990. Have stayed in touch the entire time, and he's a special man and a special leader. And it was fun to be able to get to visit with them. We talked a little bit about family also, and of course we ended up with spending about 30 minutes talking about coverages. So that's what we always do.
Thanks, man.
All right, that was Coach Matt Eberflus. Being more animated, more comfortable at the mic, honest and open, like guys in the chat were saying. It's good to see, I obviously his words, and I agree with them. It all comes down to what they do on the grass. It all comes down to what they do on the football field. And, everything right now for me, like I said before, everything is pointing up for the Bears. But I like the focused approach, the humble approach, right? Not too high, not too low. Talked about the offensive struggles, but then the defense will struggle as well, and the defense did struggle. Like I said, there were plays out there, where the defense made mistakes, where there was a pass interference, on the defense, where there was a holding where there's a holding on the offense. I mean, it's going to go back and forth, right? It's as long as the progression is steadily up when it comes to the team as a whole, I think the Bears are going to find success this season. All right, guys, that is it for me. I'm going to wrap things up. There will probably be, unless they're off tomorrow, but they were off on Wednesday, I believe, this past week. So I don't know. Depending on what happens, we'll see. We'll get into some interviews tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be kind of a busier day for me, so I might be popping up in the middle of the day. But regardless, I will be on once again, trying to get you the best Bears coverage that I possibly can on the Best Bears Network, on the planet, the Tape Never Lies Network. So without beating around the bush, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Tape Never Lies Network. Become a patron today at www.thetapeneverlies.com. Scottish says no practice tomorrow. No practice tomorrow, so there will be no show tomorrow, and I'll be able to rest. So anyway, I'm out here, guys. Enjoy the evening. Have fun. Peace.